welcome to PedalGuys, episode 4.
Number 4, welcome in.
Yes, and so today we have a very special edition of PedalGuys. We have in our hands a Sunface NKT White Dot. Music from the intro of Halo. So we were very lucky to have this lent to us by our favorite local guitar shop, Mill River Music.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. And if you're local to the Western Mass area, do yourself a favor and check that shop out because it is the best.
It is our shop of choice.
It is our shop of choice for many years now.
Yes.
So we have this mythical, very, very rare, very sought after Sunface, and we're gonna compare it to my own BC 183. Also great pedal, a lot more common, still made.
So Sam, what's an NKT
Yes.
275 and what's a 183?
Funny you should ask.
Yeah.
So they're transistors.
Okay.
So what's really cool about these this shootout is that you're going to hear the difference between a circuit board that is essentially exactly the same between these two pedals, except for that each of these have two transistors, and it's only those two transistors that are the difference. But as you'll hear, it's a pretty dramatic difference in the sound.
It is.
And they're both great. I should mention just from the top. This is a very expensive pedal. We're not going to lie to you.
Yes.
There's a reason why this was lent to us and we didn't buy it.
Yes, absolutely.
For now, I mean, someday hopefully we'll own one.
Absolutely.
But this is a very expensive pedal. It's very rare, very sought after. This is still very sought after, but widely available.
Yes. But both from the same company.
Both
builder.
Analogman, same builder, and we'll put a picture up on the screen right now of the two circuit boards. We opened these guys up. We looked at the back.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the signature. You'll see all the Analogman swag, and the circuit boards are very similar. One notable difference is that the NKT does have the bias knob for the little sundial face on the outside, and on the BC 183 it is a trim pot on the inside. But it's essentially exactly the same circuit.
And you'll notice in the pictures, I mean, the circuit board is the same, and it's kind of cool to be able to match them up side by side and look at kind of the subtle differences.
Right.
But I think the part of the simplicity of the circuit is the reason that some of these things are so sought after, right?
Exactly, and I should mention also, both of these pedals, you can get many different options when you're getting them custom made from Analogman, Analog Mike, but both of these do not have a power jack. They're battery only, 9-volt. And they both don't have an LED. And so all of these, when you have such a simple circuit, every single component makes a huge difference. So actually having that LED, having the power, a power supply, is going to change the tone pretty drastically.
Yeah.
And both of these pedals have the same battery, which is an Ever-Ready. 9-volt with a little kitty cat on there.
Which is important.
It's important because it's non-alkaline.
Yes.
And believe it or not, alkaline versus non-alkaline will make a difference in the tone. So both of these do have the same battery, and they're both, like I said, no LED, no power supply. So really, what we're doing here is we're just listening to the difference of transistors.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, to have two very similar fuzzes side by side, two boutique fuzzes. We both own a ton of fuzz pedals already, so it's really interesting to get to kind of compare parts basically between two very sought after fuzzes, and also to get our hands on something that most people we know would be able to own
access, but
it's very cool that we're able to. So.
Absolutely. So without further ado, let's hear some clips. Okay, so first up is going to be the NKT White Dot. So I'm playing my new Supro Silverwood. It has two single coil gold foil pickups. They're humbucker size, but they are single coils.
Nice.
We're playing through the Quilter Overdrive 200. There is a little bit of plate reverb from the Mercury 7 in the effects loop.
Yes.
But then we're going straight into the Sunface. Let me give you a full set down there, and we're gonna have the bias is right down the middle, and the fuzz kind of almost all the way up. The volume's up pretty high. So here is my clean. right off the rip,
wow.
It's really buttery smooth.
Yes.
Warm, articulate. And
there's a lot of low end in that thing.
There's a lot of low end, yeah. Yeah, I'm tuned down to D, D standard, drop to C.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that holds that low end really nicely.
It does.
Warm, like yummy fuzz.
Yeah.
And that was with my volume all the way up. So here's
nice.
The key with this pedal in particular, with the White Dot NKT, is they're renowned for how well they clean up. So, and it has a really nice range on my volume pot. Mm. So we'll start from the top of the volume. I'm going to slowly bring it down, and we'll hear how that sounds doing some lead stuff. So as you can hear, huge range.
Very contrasting, right? Wow.
All the way totally clean, to rip in like stoner, full on bloomy fake fuzz.
And that's just from the volume knob. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, we're not touching anything. That's just the volume knob.
Yeah. Wow.
So I mean, that is one of the big reasons why this is such an expensive pedal. I mean, it's huge range. This could be, this could replace a distortion, an overdrive, a boost.
And especially where it is, and I think where we put it and where you should put it at the very front of your effects chain is really important. But I think even the way that you use yours on your board in this one, it's almost like a preamp, like a distortion preamp.
Yeah.
More than anything else, because of that ability to kind of clean up, because it's not just one thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I
have mine on pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Unless I'm really going for like a super sparkling spanky clean.
Yeah.
But most of my cleans, I think it has more character. I think it's a better sounding clean. It's a more characterful clean with a Sunface on with the volume rolled back.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean that. When It Cries Mary, like that is that sound.
It sounds so good.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I know. It sounds good. It's got
that's nice, and that's
got a lot of vibe to it.
That's about like a little under halfway on the volume the volume knob. And when I first got mine, and I was playing around with the volume and discovering all those tones. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I was like, "Oh my god, so much classic rock guitar sounds." Yeah. All of a sudden, made sense to me. It's like, that's how they do that.
It's just that.
Like I always thought, because I think I was thinking about like amp breakup.
Yeah.
Right? For a lot of these classic rock tones that on recordings that we hear.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is amp breakup and pushed amps, but vintage style pedals, fuzz pedals, especially Sunfaces. Like that, so many more artists than I feel like I realized. That's how they're getting to that sound.
It's a fuzz face, right? Like
it's a fuzz face.
It's the fuzz face going, and that was at the time was one of the only fuzz effects available.
Totally.
The Maestro fuzz tone from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and the fuzz face from London. Like that was it.
Or you had like a treble booster.
Or that, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a more subtle kind of thing, and more, I think, than most people would realize. It's got more subtlety to it.
Yes.
For sure.
So let's jump over to the BC-183.
All right, let's switch them out.
Okay, here's the clean again. And the BC-183.
very different. Wow.
Yeah. To my ear, more compression, a little like tighter and punchier.
Definitely.
Not as much warmth.
Nope.
I feel like the NKT has this kind of blooming warmth to it. And the BC-183 is tighter and gnarlier.
It's almost like the NKT is like someone turned the tone knob down on this one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like just darker. Yeah.
The NKT to me also almost has like a sag.
Yes.
Like it's a feel thing. Maybe you might not even be able to tell from the audio, but it's for sure a feel thing. The BC-183 is a lot more immediate and tight, and yeah, it almost has this like tube rectifier sag on the NKT.
It definitely has that. Maybe that's what gives it the vintage.
Yeah,
kind of vibe. Maybe.
But let me show you how the BC-183 also cleans up, because it cleans up incredibly well.
All right, yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so we'll do the same deal, doing some lead stuff, slowly turning the volume down. Huge range on this guy as well.
Very much so. I want to say that when the clean tones on that sounds in the guitar lingo, it's almost chiming. It reminds me of when you turn it down. It reminds me of a clean AC-15 or something like that. It's just a different kind of clean sound. I like it a lot. It's just a different kind of clean sound than the NKT.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's got that tone to it. That's really interesting, though.
Absolutely.
So this is silicone.
Yes, this is silicone. Which one advantage would be that it's not going to be as sensitive to temperature with germanium.
Well, let's talk about that, because I think a lot of people don't know that about germanium transistors.
Germanium transistors very sensitive to the weather and to temperature. It could sound dramatically, honestly, the pedal itself can sound pretty different, whether if it's really cold out or very hot.
Yes.
In fact, we should probably do a video sometime.
Yeah.
Like over the course of a year,
and
just a hot day and a dry, cold day.
Well, that's the thing, is that people will they'll play in their air conditioned space. It'll sound great. They'll take it out to a hot gig somewhere in like Nashville or something in the summer. They'll go to put it on stage. It just sounds flubby. You're like,
totally.
Why?
Admittedly, I have owned several germanium pedals, fuzz pedals over the years, and I've traded them all because they weren't reliable live.
No.
So that's something to consider too. It's like, this is a really rad pedal, but it might be something you leave in the studio.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I mean, obviously the sounds speak for itself, but
or you put it in the freezer before every single time you use it.
Put it in the freezer, and
you
then
can do that.
That sounds great.
I've actually heard of people doing that
really?
to keep it consistent.
Wow, okay, cool.
But the other thing, too, is that you talked about earlier that can affect the tone is the battery situation.
That's right. Oh, I should mention.
Yeah.
With these guys being that they're battery operated, as the power is drained in the battery, it's going to change the tone.
Yes.
Something that I've actually noticed, generally they get splattier, and that kind of rippy, splatty indie rock kind of fuzz sound. which is cool. But
Yes.
but I've noticed on mine, when that happens, it also doesn't clean up anymore.
Got it.
So to get the really nice cleanup, you do have to have a battery that has some power on it.
Got it. So you
something
do have to
know.
change the batteries, yeah.
You do, yeah. And I got a package of like 12 of these on Amazon for like $5.
There you go.
Yeah. No problem.
No, not at all.
Worth it for the tones, man.
Definitely worth it for the tones. Yeah. That's awesome.
I think next let's do a really quick just like A/B.
Yes.
And I should mention also, we're totally doing one pedal at a time here because if we were to run these next to each other, they would affect the tone. You really don't want any other pedal in front of one of these. It's gonna totally change it. So if I was to put, one of these first, it would affect the other. So in terms of fairness and transparency between the tones, we're separating them each time.
Yeah, so we're just trying to give it a fair shake, given our lack of looper situation. So we'll do a quick thing. We'll do a kind of a similar lick between the two, and you guys can judge for yourself. Let us know what you think.
So so since the 183 is on there, let's start there.
All right. Excellent.
So what's interesting is listening and playing. I feel like that riff sounded so close to me, but the way that it felt when I was playing it was really different.
Interesting. Talk about that, because I think that's the thing with guitar, with certain pedals, that it just feels different.
Yeah.
Right? So what does it feel like to you?
It feels like I can dig into the Sunface more, and it's the squishiness that I can like rip into.
The NKT.
Excuse me, the NKT.
Gotcha.
They're both Sunface.
Gotcha.
The NKT, I feel like I can rip into more.
Okay. Is the other one, because I know that on and actually inside the pedal too, I don't know if you noticed, we can put the picture up again, but it does say high gain inside the
Oh, we should mention
NKT.
that.
So what is, let's talk about that real quick.
Yes, so there are variations on the NKT white dots. I mean, there's also red dot NKTs, which are still made.
Yes.
But there are many variations within the white dot itself.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Analogman separated out from those individual transistors which ones were rated a little bit higher or lower. So there's actually I believe there's a low, medium, and high gain options.
Yes.
And this is, we should mention, this is a high gain version, which I think, from the audio, I think is pretty apparent. This thing can
You can tell.
Pretty big. Those like it's doing those stoner metal things really nicely.
It's like the low and the low mid distortion.
Yeah.
Is a lot more distorted on that. One, I think.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. And now the 183, is that one also considered high gain, or would
it is?
Oh, it is. Okay.
It is. There isn't. I don't believe there's the same variance.
Okay.
But that particular silicon transistor is a higher gain transistor just across the board. I think they're more uniform.
Got it.
But that particular one is high gain.
Got it.
But yeah, there's a quality. I think the low mid distortion, the quality between the two is different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that a couple companies. I know that the OCD. I know that Full Tone's a touchy subject, right? But I know that they came out with a germanium version of the OCD.
Right. Yeah.
The fuzz face, like the one that's made now, has the red version of it is the germanium version.
Right.
So they exist out there in the world. It's just not the same as the White Dot NKT that's in.
Totally. This is a very particular, rare, no longer made transistor.
Right.
And yeah, transistor to transistor, whatever it's made from,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the manufacturer, you know, and the particular model, those are all gonna sound different.
Yes.
And that's what's kind of fun about being a collector, if you want to be,
Mm-hmm.
of Analogman, and particularly these sort of fuzz pedals,
Mm-hmm.
is you can kind of try to collect the different transistors, and
Yep.
and you can hear, as you've seen today, you can hear the difference, and it's the same circuit other than that one component.
Yes.
So it's like, maybe it's a little pretentious, like, it is pretentious.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
but a little like cork sniffing for transistors, but you know what? It's cool. It's kind of all part of the fun of it, and it's part of, you know, learning about these instruments, you know.
And I don't think we can stress enough how rare this thing is, because a lot of these companies try to go out, and a lot of the hardest part is finding either original spec, new original spec parts, and this one specifically is not. You cannot find it. It does not exist. And the last run of this was in 2011, was what we read on the website, I believe.
Yes.
And this particular model is from 2010, so this one's actually unique in the way that it's probably one of the last ones that they made like this. So
totally. So all that to say, if you like the tones you're hearing out of this butte today, this particular one is up for purchase.
Absolutely.
From Mill River Music. You can check out their website or the reverb.com channel.
We'll post a link in the description.
We'll post a link below.
And definitely check those guys' shop out. They have way more than just kind of cool pedals. They have a ton of guitars.
That's where we got
things.
This guitar. That's where we got the. We were turned on to Quilter by the owner,
Through Mill River.
Great people.
So they've been a pretty big influence on us. So give them a bit of business.
Give them all the love.
Please do. So I think that's gonna actually wrap up. Let's show off that pedal one more time to show it to the camera. I just want to take a quick look. And yes, just for the folks at home, that middle thing does move. That's the bias knob. So it does look like a thing that doesn't move on there, but it actually does. So actually, Sam,
we wanted to
for
keep
us.
It consistent.
We put it right in the middle, but it will affect your tone kind of in there. But we wanted to kind of give you guys the highlights as we were going through.
Yes.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week of PedalGuys.
So like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you guys.